Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the 10th Adrenalynn and Lastic action figures. These first came out back in the late 90s, probably around 1995, and they were made by Resaurus Toys. Resaurus Toys was kind of a smaller company. They were known for doing a lot of video game properties very early on. They did some Street Fighter figures, some Crash figures. I think they even dabbled in some Resident Evil properties, but they also did a lot of kind of offbeat comic adaptations. And one of them was Tony S. Daniels' The 10th. So yeah, these are two characters from the comic. I'm not familiar with the comic, so I don't know exactly what part these characters play in it, but I thought that figure looked cool, so let's take a look at the box. So right off the bat, as you can see, it's a huge figure. It's kind of shaped like a double pack. You obviously have Lastic, who's this big brute here, and then Adrenalynn right there. And you know, looks like she comes with a couple accessories. She's smaller in frame, and just judging from the packaging, it doesn't look like she has too much articulation compared to Lastic, who is just this devilish looking face there. Huge hulking figure, some great articulation here. I can already tell before you get him out, and just all together looks great just from the display box and how they made the window look. If we look at the back of the figure, they provide a lot of detail as to what this line and what the series is about. So starting off, you have Esperanza and the 10th, which I assume they are the protagonists of the series. You have Mysticina and the Grave up here as well, and then down here you have the figures that we have, Adrenalynn and Lastic. So three different sets. I'm guessing that they're all about as big as this one is, but down here you have the comics and what all the characters look like there. So again, Esperanza, Adrenalynn, Mysticina, the Grave, the 10th, and Lastic, and as well as some original Tony S. Daniel artwork. Again, the writer and illustrator of the series. So pretty interesting stuff. Up here, the last of it is just kind of a blurb on what the 10th is, so I can read that off for you guys. It says, from the creative mind of Tony Daniel and the talented staff at Resaurus comes one of the most intense action figure lines ever. A sinister plot to take over the world, a beautiful girl with extraordinary powers, a beast of superhuman strength and ultimately human feelings. It's the 10th, and it's going to shake you to the core. The 10th is the story of Victor De Leon and Esperanza. These two characters are delicately intertwined to create a rich tapestry of suspense, action, and outright horror. Victor, a former government operative, has been turned into the last of 10 super monsters by the supremely evil Ray's Dark. It is Dark's plan to take over the world and bring about a new Dark Earth with him as supreme ruler. To do so, he has enlisted the help of his own creations, 10 superpowered beings of monstrous proportions. But something has gone awry. Victor's transformation has not been complete. He actually remembers the human being he used to be. As Victor comes to this realization, the young Esperanza, a powerful telekinetic in her own right, dreams of the 10th. From that point forward, their lives are forever bound. So it sounds like an interesting concept, and I think with how these figures look, this is definitely something that a comic series I could get into. But anyways, let's crack her open and see what they look like. So we'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back. And here's the figures I should say, out of box. One thing I wanted to note first was if you take a look back at the box art behind them, I'm not sure if you guys can see this in clear detail or not, but we do have a great Tony S. Daniel piece of art here. That kind of gives you an idea of what the 10th is about. You couldn't really see it when the figures were in the box, but it's just such great artwork, and just has such, I don't know, viscerality to it that it kind of gives you a better idea of what the figures might be and what they all entail and everything. But I just wanted to point that out before we actually got into the figures themselves. So yeah, really cool stuff. As for the figures themselves, as you can see, you've got Lastic here, as well as Adrenalynn. And we'll take a look at Adrenalynn first here. So she is actually a bit different than what I was expecting. So she's very, very small. She only stands probably about 5 inches tops, and that's if you have, the guns up and everything. She comes with her pistol right here, as well as another sort of sidearm. Looks like kind of an automatic pistol, maybe a modified Walter or something. And then just her. So she kind of has, this sort of black leathery look, high platform sneakers and everything. Her articulation is not that incredible, and that was one of the things that I didn't realize was going to happen. I thought she was going to have more maneuverability in here, and she actually only has her head, which goes back and forth, full 360 there. You also have just the arms that just go up and down. Same over here. There's no articulation in this elbow here, so that's one thing that I kind of was expecting to have, but it didn't come through. As well as the only other articulation are her legs here at the joint right there. So it's just, very sort of, I guess, restricted in maneuverability and posability. So really this is kind of what she's going to be looking like for the most part, just standing there, just sort of mugging, I guess, is what she's meant to do in her pose. But yeah, that's her, sort of the less interesting of the two. The real grit is Lastic, and man, I have to say there's some things I'm underwhelmed about, but overall I really love this guy. He looks incredible. First off, I mean, that face is something for nightmares. I mean, that's just absolutely creepy, especially with the, I love the detail of the tongue hanging out. If you can see here in his hair, he actually has blue on the black, so I do kind of like that, giving him that sort of almost 90s goth look. Really adds into that sort of effect, as well as bringing your eye to not only his sort of deadish skin color, but his outfit as well, which is all, chains and black bondage looking stuff. But no, he looks great. Biggest problem I had, and I thought that this was going to be different when he was in package, but his legs do not extend. Each leg is one whole piece that hinges right here on his body. So if you see right there, there's basically just the hinge, and it goes up and down sort of in steps and in segments. So it's not like it can extend all the way out and he grows much bigger than this. It's really gonna just be this, and you're gonna have to balance him out based off how his legs move. And it's the same with the other one. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's not what I was expecting when I was taking it out of the package, but at the same time, as much as it takes away from the figure, I don't want to take away from it too much, because I do think that the upper body is where it exceeds. In terms of the rest of articulation, you have the head, which goes side to side all the way around. Very simple there. His arms not only have hinge joints that go up and down like that, but they also have rotating joints, so you can actually move this all the way around. And I really like that. I think that adds a more dynamic feel, especially since you're not getting much articulation down here. The fact that they gave maximum articulation up on the arms, which take up probably more of his body than his legs. I think that was a really smart move, and I have to give credit there, because that's really what makes this figure to me. I love having these hulking figures that have just full articulation in the upper body, these more, berserker types. I also like his length there, especially with his arms. While there isn't articulation in his full arms on either one, you do have very open palms, so it's something easy. She may not work, but if you had like a set piece, like a smaller figure, to have him grabbing someone, I think that could really work out too, and that's kind of what they want this figure used for. But I thought that was also a great feature of his arms. The wrist articulation is he does swivel at the body there, so he can do a full 360 as well. And then obviously the legs, as I showed. Outside of that, that's kind of him in a nutshell. And I don't hate him so much as I thought I would. I actually think despite some of the setbacks, he's still a really great figure. It's just obviously people are going to be wanting to get this set because of him, but you know, I think Adrenalynn kind of fits in there nice, and you can do some really cool poses with them together. So yeah, altogether I'd have to say if you can find this on, you know, aftermarket for a decent price, I definitely would recommend picking them up. But that's going to do it today. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and if you know more about this character or interested in these figures, please leave a comment. And until next time, this is Aces signing off.